So can we put in his roar?
I'm sorry, put what? Where?
Can we put in his roar?
I don't know. I'm not the sound guy. Yet.
Collins, can you can we have a roar? No, not like a lion. I'm talking like large and scaly. And no, not a T-Rex.
Well,
I need you to drag a leather glove across a bow. Like a base. Like an actual not that base. No, the base with the one that uses the bow. The standing base.
he's talking about Godzilla. Just tell him why you're talking about. A dragon roar will be sufficient. If it's got a blue tinge to it, it'll be even better.
That was so
I know sound doesn't have a blue tinge.
I mean,
Yet.
in theory, it could. If you could see sound, I think some would have. The waves would cause certain colors, I think. There's lights and waves. Sounds and waves.
I think that if you could see sound, it'd look more like that wave that you see on like planes and stuff like that break the sound barrier. Which is a distortion effect.
Maybe.
So what you been watching?
Godzilla.
Huh?
The new animated, the new American anime movies trilogy. It's interesting. Godzilla is a lot bigger in it than in his previous iterations.
Huh.
I believe he's even larger than the current movie one.
Really?
Yeah, he's
Seems
fucking
ridiculous.
huge.
I mean, with how big they look like they're going to be making Rodan and
Ghidorah.
yeah. Godzilla's not going to look very big like the old show where he was comparable in size.
Yeah. But like, so he shows up in the first part of the movies.
Mm-hmm.
He shows up and starts just destroying the world. He's big, but he's not big. He's like a couple stories tall, kind of big. Like, maybe 7, 8. This is my guess. If I'm remembering correctly. And then humans, the few that escape, they get on their ships and they leave. They meet 2 other great races of people,
Mm-hmm.
and they're trying to find somewhere else to settle. They aren't able to find anywhere else. They're running out of fuel, and they're like, well, we may as well go back and try to, kill him and take our world back.
Maybe they should have tried that before they left.
They tried to kill him. It didn't work.
So they think now they're better equipped to do that now that they're lower on resources?
The main character has come up with a plan to lower the energy shield that Godzilla apparently has in this iteration. He has an energy shield that blocks everything, but it drops right before he's about to use his breath weapon to a point where you could actually penetrate it and hurt him.
Okay.
So in that,
And again, nobody thought of this before they left.
nope.
Great job, guys.
He spent pretty much his entire life up to this point studying Godzilla because Godzilla took his parents. So they decide, all right, we'll go back. So they warp jump back to Earth. For them, it has not been this long, but on Earth, it has been 10,000 years since they left.
Did they leave any people, or was it like everybody on the boat?
Everybody on the boat. If you're not, you gonna die.
Well, I mean, not necessarily. Like, you can live off the fat of the land as long as Godzilla's not stepping on it right there.
Yeah. Well, that's, it was the concept of either you're on the boat or you're dead. At least that's what they said. So they get there. And the entire Earth has this layer of cloud cover on it that they can't penetrate through with their sensors. So they have to send physical sensors down below the cloud level to be able to receive signal.
Okay.
So a group of people go down to do this.
Okay.
And they're like, okay, so they're setting up the sensors. All right, we got him. We found him. He's over there. Cool. So this is the plan. This is how we kill him. All right, let's do this. So they lure Godzilla into a trap. And it's about the same size as he was when they left.
Okay.
So, it's a little weird, but whatever. We'll kill him. And then we'll have the planet back. So they set up the trap. They spring the trap. They succeed.
Oh no, they killed Godzilla?
I mean, they like the EMP blast literally like rips him in half.
Wow. How did Godzilla feel about this?
Very angry. The real one, or the one that was when they left, wakes up. The other was assumptively its offspring. And when the big one wakes up, everybody is like, what?
What have we done?
They're like smaller, weird, like dragon-like things. They're kind of Godzillas, but not Godzillas. They're weird. They're like this weird predatory dragon thing.
Oh, like the baby Godzillas in the American movie?
Kind of, but these ones have wings and they can actually fly.
Oh.
Yeah.
Thanks, I hate it.
So the main character gets separated from everybody else and ends up running into a group of indigenous people who are still alive. And they worship an egg. Like their deity is an egg.
Do they speak Japanese or whatever? Do they speak a language?
They speak in a language amongst themselves, and then they can also speak broken English.
Ancient language?
Broken English to the main characters, or to the other main characters.
Yeah.
They're also telepaths. The other race,
because of the radiation.
Assumptively, might have something to do with the two twins that worship the egg. I don't know.
Okay.
But they find out that the Saluda, which was one of the other races that helped humanity escape, they were trying to build a mecha Godzilla to kill the old Godzilla.
Right, because they haven't gone down this path.
Yeah, they hadn't gone down that path yet. So they go back to where the city was, where it was being built. Instead of it being, a giant metal version of Godzilla, it's a city called Mecha Godzilla City. And it's literally a nanomachine based fortress. Like it'll just build weapons on its sides if it needs to. You just have to tell it to.
Interesting.
They end up trying to lure Godzilla into the real Godzilla into another trap. This one doesn't work the way they want it to. Most of the characters die, including the main character's love interest. She's basically half infused with the nanomachines.
That's how she dies?
Yeah.
Cool.
Godzilla literally lets off a blast of heat that melts the city. But after he does that, he goes to sleep for a little bit. He needs his nap.
Oh, yeah. Got a power nap so he can power blast him.
So while that's going on, the other race that are creepy space elves, that is how I'm describing them.
Creepy space elves.
Yes, creepy space elves who have telepathy also.
You've never played Phantasy Star?
No, these are like super creepy space elves. Like, you remember, what's his name from Star Ocean? Phase?
Yeah.
Like him times 1,000.
Like 1,000 of him, or like 1,000 creepies?
1,000 creepy. Like his obsession with the girl on the desert planet who gets killed. Like how creepy he was in love with her when they only met like twice.
I actually don't remember that.
Oh, well. So he's
Anyway.
the character in
Yeah.
Godzilla is like that, only it's on a religious level.
Oh, so he's a zealot.
Yeah.
Well,
And their
God's
god,
not here today, priest.
their god is the golden wings of death.
Ghidorah.
Yes.
So
He releases Ghidorah.
why wouldn't... Hold on. I thought the main character was one of the
Main character's human.
people who left.
He did. They
And
came
he's a
back.
zealot for
No,
Ghidorah.
There's a different. The creepy
Oh.
space elf
Oh.
is a zealot for Ghidorah.
Oh, right. I'm sorry. I
They-
forgot that detail.
Literally
So-
sacrifice everybody on the larger ship in orbit to bring Ghidorah into our universe because Ghidorah is actually from another universe.
How do they worship something that's not in our universe?
So basically,
I don't really care.
it digs into they became so advanced that they realized there's no afterlife.
You just switch to a different universe?
No, this is it.
Oh.
So instead of being upset that this is it, they
They
fell in love
probed.
with the end.
Okay. There's a restaurant there.
So, yeah, that's not weird at all.
Actually, this is kind of fascinating. So they summon Ghidorah,
Yep, who is
Hold on.
ethereal to
and they
everything in our world
sacrifice most of the population
of humans.
of humans to do this because that's just okay. Leaving the main character living on the world by
Main
himself?
character and a few others that were still part of the initial expedition team.
Yeah.
So they sacrifice everything in orbit, but I love the way they did it. Time is distorting. Space is distorting around them. They can see Ghidorah, but their sensors aren't picking him up. Nothing is picking him up. And then the girl on the bridge is like, they receive a message from the engine room. The engine room's destroyed 45 seconds before they get the message that comes through. And then the girl sitting there who's reading all the lifelines.
Sounds like some Star Trek shit.
She's like, there's no life signs on the bridge. Are we already dead?
Because the sensor is reading the future.
Yeah.
So is Ghidorah like the Godzilla of that universe?
No, because Ghidorah feeds on Godzillas. Plural. Every civilization eventually gets to a point where they create a Godzilla. Ghidorah is literally the end of everything.
Oh,
Godzilla is nothing but a fruit,
but
from
not
a
the end of
tree.
everything, just the end of civilizations when they have expired.
Godzilla is basically the apple on a tree. The tree is the civilization,
Civilization is a tree, and we grow a Godzilla,
and then Ghidorah walks by and eats it.
and
In
he
the
learns how to
process,
sin.
He destroys the tree also.
So what you're saying is Ghidorah comes in and eats the tree and happens to eat the apple too.
No, he initially eats the apple, and then by eating the apple sets off a chain reaction which destroys.
Like there's a release of energy by
Yeah.
eating. But is not the energy what he's feeding off of?
Some of it, yeah.
How do you grow a Godzilla?
You find nuclear weapons.
So what if you don't?
Every civilization does.
But what if they don't?
Every civilization that reaches
Do you
that
know-
point
On
does.
a side note,
It is
we
a
are
great filter.
we apparently have, at least for like the last 10 years, been on the verge of having much stronger charges for like batteries and stuff like that. We just can't find a way to store the energy properly.
Yeah, I believe that.
But like if we ever break that, this is completely detached from what you were talking about. It was just something I read recently. It was interesting. If we ever get over that hurdle, which could happen, it's one of those things that could happen next year. It could happen 20 years from now.
Yeah.
But
We
it's
just
something
need that
being worked on.
breakthrough.
Right. like things like super long distance electric cars will be a thing. Like energy as we know it will slowly, because politics and old people don't like change, will change. Like everything that we know about the way energy works. One of the reasons that processors have kind of slowed down on their speeds, especially for like phones and stuff like that, is because they just can't get the amount of quick power that this would be able to provide. Because it's not just the amount of power, it's how fast it can transmit the power. I can't remember exactly the specifics of what it is. I think it has something to do with... No, I'm not going to say anything because I don't know, and I'm going to just look stupid when I'm wrong.
Okay.
Anyway, yes, back onto the eating of Godzillas.
Yeah. So basically, creation of a Godzilla is a great filter. Do you have any idea what I mean by that?
A great filter?
Yeah.
Charcoal?
So there are certain... so you have this many worlds that can, are in existence. And then a great filter is this many of those worlds, like 5 of those worlds out of the 10 can support carbon-based life. Another great filter would be single-cell life. Another great filter.
I know what you're talking about.
Nuclear weapons is basically a great filter. If you reach the point of getting nuclear weapons, you are on the way to creating a Godzilla inadvertently because of your nuclear weapon testing and development.
So what if you were successful in relocating then?
Probably just do it all over again.
But it wouldn't be, because your civilization would already be beyond that point. Assumptively, if you can find a place to reestablish, then you're beyond the need for nuclear as an energy source.
Possibly, but they didn't. They may not have because they were being led by the creepy, crazy space elves.
Who just wanted to see them end?
No, they just wanted to see the fruition of their deity. So, the elves on the ship start conjuring him into the reality. The one elf that's with them on the ground murders the rest of the humans except for Haruo, the main character.
Why?
Basically, he's like, look, if you want Godzilla to be destroyed, you need to pray to the great golden winged god Ghidorah. So they're all standing there, they're starting to pray, and the snake-like head starts slithering out from the shadow of the cauldron they just drank from and starts biting chunks of body parts off.
Sounds like they're on drugs. Like really, really bad drugs.
And there's a couple who don't die. Because there's Haruo, the scientist, and scientist assistant that I can think of right offhand who don't actually die. Then. But Godzilla starts to wake up when this happens. And Ghidorah starts coming down. Their orbs, they look like miniature black holes appear in the sky, 3 of them. And Ghidorah starts slithering. One head through each of the holes. Going down. And Godzilla's like, okay, beam. Goes right through him.
It's a transdimensional being.
Okay.
And he's...
Beam. It bends. And then chunk just latches onto Godzilla.
A chunk latches on a Godzilla?
One of the heads just latches onto him. And it's like, okay, he couldn't hit it. How can it bite him?
Because the rules for time and space don't work the same on the being deterring the rules of time and space.
Yeah. Also, Ghidorah is technically being controlled by crazy space elf.
Can they?
Yes.
Control it?
They basically...
So are they transdimensional? Like, it seems like they know a lot about how this works.
They don't... The way they establish the rules about them in the movie, they are not transdimensional. They are from this dimension. Yet, when they saw into the future that there was no afterlife, they saw Ghidorah.
How
the
did
end
they?
of everything.
How did they not get to the point where
Oh, they did.
Godzilla? Okay.
A Godzilla was created, but instead of trying to destroy Godzilla, they turned to the future that they had foreseen. They turned to Ghidorah and began worshiping it. And it came through and it destroyed Godzilla, leaving a select few of them to spread knowledge of Ghidorah across the stars.
You mean to commit genocide?
Yes.
Because I don't think those other humans needed to die if Ghidorah was being successful in eating. Like, why would they need to die?
Yeah. So, Haruo is basically at this point, he goes to stop the crazy elf guy and gets pulled into like his own mind, Haruo's own mind. And the crazy elf guy's like, look, surrender your heart to Ghidorah. Make him truly physical. Bring him here so that we can truly bring about the true end to everything.
They want to destroy the universe.
This is how
He wants to destroy the universe.
Godzilla.
This is he's saying Godzilla is in all Godzillas ever.
Yes.
Again.
And Haruo's like, he's starting to fall for it. He's like, okay, this might be something that needs to happen. And then he hears a voice. And it's the voice of one of the twins and the science guy. They're talking to him telepathically through the egg because reasons.
Are you sure this wasn't made in old Japan?
Hold on. So while he hears their voice, he turns and looks out the window of the plane he's on inside his head and sees...
What the fuck are you even saying to me right now?
And sees a very large winged creature coming towards him. And he goes, no, other one.
Mothra, twins.
There you go. And he goes, is that a moth? And the moth goes,
she is a goddess.
Through the plane and just destroys the plane.
So she's probably the actual good way of getting rid of Godzilla.
Probably. But like that's it. That's all of Mothra you get, which kind of bothered me a little
really?
bit. I'm not even gonna lie. That kind of bothered me. That was pretty much it.
That's lame.
But so that leads to him being able to, he's able to claw himself back up out of his own mind with the help of Mothra, and then remembering what was important.
Living? Wasn't surviving the whole point of this?
He was starting to be consumed by the rage he felt against Godzilla for destroying everything.
I mean, he's the only person left alive now, right?
No, they're some of the indigenous tribe. The indigenous tribe's still in existence, the twins, some of the other humans.
How hard would it, just imagine where you had to live with,
Godzilla-like creatures.
Well, I mean, just living in a situation and, you get rid of Godzilla, but it's, only you and, a tribe of people who are nowhere near your, what you've, the living style of nowhere near what you've lived before this.
Yeah. Well, so he kills Crazy Elf Guy. And when he does that, an interesting thing occurs. Godzilla can touch Ghidorah. Godzilla murders Ghidorah.
Really? But then, I mean, he still doesn't... Godzilla's still there.
Yeah.
So does that mean if they get back to the nuclear stage, he just wakes up again? Or
they
another one?
Potentially create another one.
Well, there's already two here.
And then the scientist guy's like, he gets one of the remnants of the Mechagodzilla city. They had a remnant of one of the weapons. They called a vulture. It's like a flying mech suit. He was able to get its reactor turned back on. And he tells Haruo, he's like, think about it. This is a self-replicating system. I can rebuild our civilization with this back to what it was. And Haruo sits there for a minute and he just walks away.
Mhm.
He goes, he picks up, because they still have the body of his former lover.
Okay.
On a slab. He picks her up and he starts to leave, and the twin that's not pregnant with his kid
Okay.
is like, where are you going? And he's like, I have to go. She's like, if you go, you lose. I thought goal was to win, to survive. He goes, maybe one day, if I stayed, you'd understand. But I can't. He goes, he steals the vulture, so Science Boy can't rebuild their society, and charges headlong at Godzilla
He's
to
going
kill
to die.
himself and destroy
yeah.
the vulture.
But
I really enjoyed it. I did not enjoy the 2 months or 3 months I had to wait between each movie at all. But watching them back to back would probably be really good. But they're like an hour and a half each.
only 4.5 hours.
Yeah, it's not extended edition Lord of the Rings, but it's still a pretty good story. Like I enjoyed it.
It sounds fairly ridiculous to me.
Oh, it's crazy. It is. But it's a fun crazy in the sense of like Godzilla. Most Godzilla stuff is crazy if you start trying to break it down.
It sounds like there's not enough Godzilla involved.
There's
I remember when Godzilla movies used to be like 90 minutes of Godzilla, 10 minutes of people yelling, "Oh no, it's Godzilla."
Are you talking about Godzilla or Gundams?
It's a Gundam. It's a Gundam.
Boom.
It's a Gundam.
Boom.
It's a Gundam.
Why wasn't there? There it is. Boom. You can't kill me. Why not? I have plot armor. What plot armor do you have? I'm in love with the main villain.
Oh.
The main villain? Okay, not the main villain. The main kind of villain. Fine. You don't die. I'll just destroy your thrusters.
You can float out here. Yeah. You can float out here and wait for your beloved. Isn't it Zax that saves her too? Yeah. Of course it is.
But no, I think if you got the chance, I think you would enjoy the movies. They're definitely not your standard Godzilla fare, though.
It kind of sounds like they might be a little bit, just for how kooky it is.
It's Godzilla crazy, but like Godzilla has an energy shield. What?
Yeah.
And then they get into the science of why for a little bit, and it's like,
because he radiates energy.
That's kind of cool, actually.
You mean they get into the pseudoscience of why?
Yeah. Their world science of explanation as to why he has a shield that even nuclear weapons can't penetrate. Aside from the fact, he was created by nuclear weapons. But that's not the point. Episode?
Please like, comment, follow, and share. And also, more importantly, thank you for listening.
Take care. Bye.